let's get into all the advisors that have basically had ties to Trump and that have been charged with crimes. Most recent one is Steve Bannon. So with Steve Bannon's arrest, that makes number 7. Since the fake President Donald Trump started squatting in the White House in 2017, seven former advisors who served at the White House or worked on his campaign have been swept up in criminal prosecutions. Um, 6 of the aides were charged as part of a special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Mueller's investigation resulted in over 34 different indictments of individuals overall. A 7th former White House advisor, Steve Bannon, was named in an indictment that was unsealed Thursday in an unrelated federal investigation into the border wall funding campaign. That inquiry is headed by federal prosecutors assigned to Manhattan's Southern District of New York. Now to get into all the people that, like I said, were arrested. Steve Bannon would be the most recent. Bannon was a former chief White House strategist and was one of 4 people charged by federal prosecutors with fraud in connection with the border wall fundraising effort that raised more than $25 million, officials had said on Thursday. The indictment accused Bannon and the others of defrauding hundreds of thousands of donors in the Rebuild the Wall crowdfunding campaign to finance one of Trump's signature programs. Bannon is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. If found guilty, each carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison, which more than likely he is guilty, so it won't surprise me. Paul Manafort. Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort was convicted in August of 2018 of tax and bank fraud charges related to his decade-long work as a lobbyist in Ukraine. He pleaded guilty a month later to related charges of failing to disclose his lobbying work and tampering with witness evidence. Manafort was sentenced to a combined 8 years in prison, but he was released to home confinement in May because of the health risks posed by the coronavirus pandemic in a federal prison. This week, the Senate Intelligence Committee concluded in its investigation of Russian election interference that Manafort, while serving as Trump campaign chairman, repeatedly discussed the campaign's work with longtime associate Konstantin Kilimnik, I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, who was a Russian intelligence agent. Dumbfuck Roger Stone. Dumbfuck Roger Stone, a longtime Republican political operative who advised Trump during the campaign, was convicted of lying to Congress and obstructing its investigation into Russian election meddling and sentenced to 3 years in prison. Last month, Trump commuted the sentence of his longtime confidant just days before Stone was set to report to prison. Michael Flynn. Trump's former national security advisor, pleaded guilty in December of 2017 to lying to investigators about meetings with Russians while in the White House. In the White House, he cooperated with Miller under a plea agreement. In May of 2020, the Justice Department abruptly dropped its case against the retired general. In July, a federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. agreed to rehear Flynn's case, a move that could resume the challenge to the Justice Department's decision to abandon its prosecution. Flynn's contacts with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak were a central reason as to why he was forced out of the White House in the first place. Pence publicly announced that Flynn assured him the subject of sanctions in the Obama administration imposed on Russia were not raised in his conversations with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak after the election, but authorities who had monitored communications involving foreign diplomats knew that this was not the case. The Justice Department warned the White House that Russian officials, aware that Flynn had misled the White House, could have threatened to expose the nature of the communications as a way to gain leverage over Flynn in his sensitive security role. What's more, authorities had viewed Flynn's contacts with Russian diplomats as improper while the Obama administration was still in office, and a possible sign that the Trump administration may have been trying to roll back sanctions imposed for Russia's campaign of cyber attacks and fake news to influence the election. Flynn was forced out in February. George Papadopoulos. A foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign, pled guilty in October of 2017 to lying to FBI agents about his communications with people who represented themselves tied to the Russian government. A professor linked to the Kremlin told Papadopoulos that the Russians had dirt on then candidate Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of her emails. Papadopoulos tried repeatedly to set up meetings between the Russian government and Trump campaign officials with the help of the professor and other well-connected Russian contacts. The court filing shows and suggested he could set up a meeting between Trump and the Russians during a campaign foreign policy advisory meeting that was attended by the fake President Trump and then Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Papadopoulos served 14 days in prison and was ordered to pay a $9,500 fine and complete 200 hours of community service. The fake president distanced himself from Papadopoulos after the guilty plea was made public, calling him a low-level volunteer. Yet Trump touted Papadopoulos as an excellent guy in an interview with the Washington Post in 2016. Rick Gates. Rick Gates was referred as the right-hand man of Manafort before and during the campaign, and also headed Trump's inaugural committee. Gates had been charged with conspiracy, money laundering, failing to register as a foreign agent, as well as making false statements to investigators in the special counsel investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential campaign. The indictment said that Gates used money from the illicit accounts to pay for his mortgage, his children's tuition, and interior decorating of his Virginia residence. He pled guilty in February of 2018 to conspiracy and lying to FBI agents and prosecutors. He cooperated with Miller. In 2019, he was sentenced to 45 days in jail. Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal lawyer and fixer, pleaded guilty in November of 2018 to lying to Congress about a proposed real estate deal in Moscow. He also pled guilty in August of 2018 to charges related to making hush money payments to porn stars that Trump made to porn stars who claimed to have had sex with Trump. Cohen was sentenced in December of 2018 to 3 years in prison. And that's it there on that one. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Ryan Van Wyk, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.